The floorboard in my old room used to hide childhood secrets, notes, candy, scraps of dreams. This time it hid nothing, just air when envelope should have been. 15,950 gone. The money I'd saved for my sister's graduation had vanished. I sat there, dust on my hands, heartbeat steady, not a single tear. Outside my door came the sound of heels and rustling shopping bags. She was humming. She thought I'd break down, fall apart, maybe beg her to explain. Instead, I sat the board back, stood up slowly and smiled. She had no idea what was coming next. The Wilston house always looked calm from outside. Fresh white paint, trimmed hedges, the kind of place that smelt like laundry soap and Sunday dinners. Inside, calm was an act. My parents built our lives on work and structure. Dad running production lines, Mom grading papers at the kitchen table until midnight. We weren't rich, just steady. Steady enough that I learnt to earn what I wanted, while my sister learnt she could ask for it. Tiffany was born 4 years after me, the miracle baby who arrived when Dad got promoted and Mum finally had summers off. From day one she sparkled. Dimples, blue eyes, that voice that could turn phases into a command. Everyone adored her. Teachers, neighbours, even the mailman remembered her birthday. When I tried to say no, I was a serious one. When she cried, the world rearranged itself to make her happy. By high school, our differences had become rules. I worked part-time at grocery stores, stacking cans after school. Tiffany joined cheerleading and came home with ribbons. When I asked for a used laptop, Dad told me to save up. When she wanted a new phone, it appeared before the weekend. It wasn't jealousy, not really. It was gravity. Everything in our house orbited around Tiffany. Years later, when Dad's company downsized and Mum picked up tutoring to cover the bills, I thought maybe things would balance out. They didn't. Tiffany's tuition came due right around when money ran thin. I remember Mom whispering late at one night, "We'll make it work, we always do." But we met me. I just landed a solid job in Boston tech. Long hours, good pay, no time for anything else. When Dad called about tuition, I didn't hesitate. "I'll cover it," I said, even though it meant draining part of my savings. 15,950, a concrete number that represented every side project, every skipped vacation, every time I told myself, "You're fine, you don't need much." I kept the cash close, literally inside my old room, beneath the same floorboard that once hid childhood treasures. It felt symbolic somehow. Money meant to secure your future, resting where I once kept my own. The day I tucked that envelope under the wood, Tiffany hugged me tighter than she had in years. "You're the best," she said. I believed her. For a while, everything felt normal. Family dinners, laughter, her promises to do better. But normal was an illusion, and illusions always crack under pressure. 3 days before Tiffany's tuition payment was due, I left for a short trip work to Seattle. Just a routine conference, back Sunday night. Before I left, I reminded her, "We'll go to campus Monday, pay it together." She nodded, smiling through a meanful of coffee. "Don't worry, I got everything ready." When I came home, the house felt off. Too quiet, too clean. Mum and Dad were already asleep, but faint perfume lingered down the hall, expensive and unfamiliar. I brushed it off. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the blinds. As I kneeled by that old floorboard, my hands reached for the envelope, too light. I opened it and froze. Empty. For a moment the world went still, just the hum of a fridge, the drip of the faucet. I checked everything, drawers, desk, closet. Nothing, no sign of a break-in. My laptop, jewellery, even an old watch sat untouched. But the money, 15,950 in cash, was gone. Logic kicked in sharp and cold. Who had access? Only family. My parents would never. That left one name. Still, I needed proof. I headed for the bathroom to clear my head, but something in the trash caught my eye. Crumpled receipts. Northstorm, sashes, the total blurred together. Designer shopping sprees dated the same 3 days. 3 days I was away. I stared at them for a long time, pulse steady, jaw locked. Then I pulled out my phone, opened Instagram. Tiffany had blocked me years ago, but she had forgotten about a second account I used to check on her when she first left for college. Her latest post hit like a punch. A photo of a shopping bag spread across her bed. A caption, "Treating my girls to the best weekend ever." Another clip, her laughing in a restaurant, flashing a brand new gold watch, the kind that cost more than rent. That's when my phone buzzed. A text from Jackson, my old roommate. "Dude, saw your sister at Mel. Girl was spending like crazy. Did she hit the lottery?" I stared at the message until the anger started to settle into something else. Clarity. I found a folded slip still inside the envelope, half tucked to the corner. A bank deposit receipt for 19,000. Her name, her signature. She stole from me again, not just money, but trust. And yet, instead of exploding, I felt calm. The kind of calm that means the decision's already been made. I knew she'd walk in soon, expecting the same old pattern. Me discovering her crying, me fixing it. But not this time. This time, the silence would be my weapon. The front door slammed just after 2. keys clattering in a electric bowl by the entryway. Then came the sound I'd been waiting for, shopping bags brushing against each other, the rhythm of someone who thought they'd gotten away with it. Tiffany appeared in the doorway, cheeks flushed, hair glossy, dressed like she walked out of a boutique ad. 4 designer bags dangled from her wrists. The gold watch on her arm glistened in the sunlight. "Oh, hey," she stammered. "Thought you were still in Seattle." "Wrapped up earlier," said voice even. "Productive trip, cool, cool." Her laugh was nervously thin. "How was the weather?" "Surprisingly nice," I replied, closing my laptop slowly. "Looks like you've been busy too." She glanced down at the bags and tried to smile. "End of season sales, you know, bargains, right?" I said softly, "Some impressive bargains." I picked up one of the receipts I'd kept soothing in on the table. "I didn't know Gucci did 70% off." Her face went pale. "You went through my stuff, bathroom trash," I corrected. "Shared space." She dropped the bags on the floor, hands trembling just slightly. "Okay, so I took it. I was gonna pay you back." "You make good money, Sarah. It's not like you'll miss it." A little, I tilted my head. The envelope was empty. Her voice rose. "You're overreacting. I just wanted to feel normal for once. Everyone at school has nice things. I'm tired of being the poor one." "You weren't poor," I said quietly. "You were helped. There's a difference." Her eyes shimmered with tears. Real or rehearsed, I couldn't tell. "Please don't tell Mom and Dad. They're gonna kill me. I'll return everything, I swear. Just give me time." I let the silence stretch. No yelling, no threats, just the weight of what she had done hanging between us. "Tiffany," I finally said, "Monday is the tuition deadline. Dad's expecting confirmation that the payment went through." She blinked. You're not paying it again, no?" Her voice cracked. "You can't be serious." "For once," I said, "I am." The room went still. Then she burst into a mix of pleading and anger, every emotion she'd ever used to manipulate her way out of trouble. I just stood there watching it burn out. When she finally ran out of words, she looked small. "You always fix everything," she whispered. "Not anymore." I turned away, letting her tears fall beside her. In the quiet that followed, something inside me shifted. Not satisfaction, not yet, but resolve. This wasn't revenge. This was the first real boundary I'd ever drawn, and the first one she'd ever had to face. Sunday morning felt too calm for what was coming. The house smelled like coffee and eggs, sunlight cutting across the kitchen tile. Dad scrolled his tablet, Mom hummed softly, and Tiffany sat across from me, quiet, pretending everything was fine. "Big day tomorrow," Dad said. "We'll go to campus and pay tuition." "Right," she murmured, eyes down. Then the landline rang. Dad handed it to Mom, smiling until his face changed. "Overdue since Friday." His tone harshened. "No, my daughter, my son," they said. "Monday." A pause, a late fee. "Withdraw is not paid today." He hung up slowly. The air thickened. "What happened to the 15,950 for your tuition?" Tiffany froze. What are they saying?" Dad's voice cut sharp. "Answer me." Her eyes darted to me, pleading. I didn't move. "The money's gone," I said. Mom blinked. "Gone? What do you mean?" "I left it in my room before Seattle. When I checked yesterday, empty." Dad turned to Tiffany. "Tell me it wasn't you." She hesitated, voice breaking. "I borrowed some. I was going to put it back." "How much is some?" She swallowed all of it. Silence slammed down. Mom's hands trembling. Dad leaned forward. "You stole tuition money your sister saved for you and spent it." "I didn't mean to. I just wanted to feel normal. Everyone has things." "Not at the cost of your family," Mom whispered. I slid the receipts across the table. Designer stores, expensive dinners, all dated while I was gone. "You didn't just spend, you flaunted it." Tiffany's voice shook. I was ashamed. I hate being the one who fits. Dad's anger cracked into disappointment. "You didn't fix insecurity with theft." She broke down, sobbing. "Please don't tell them. Don't call the school. I'll fix it." I stood up, then started. "Call them." Her head jerked. "Now." Her hands trembled as she dialed high. "This is Tiffany Wilson. I can't make my tuition payment." "Yes, I understand." Her tears fell fast. "I'll withdraw this term." Then she hung up. She whispered, "They said I'll be removed from classes if it's not paid by the end of the day." Dad nodded. "Then that's what happens. You'll work and pay it back," she gasped. "You're really going to let me fail?" "Yes," I said, "because saving you hasn't helped." "For a long time." She just cried. Then Dad quietly said, "Everything you bought, return it." "What you can't sell, I will," she whispered. "Say it." I said, "Not I will." "Say what you did." Tiffany lifted her head. "I stole from you. I lied. I'm sorry." Mom's voice was tired but gentle. "Sorry is not the start. It's not the fix either." That afternoon we drove from store to store. Tiffany's apologies quietly grew each time. Then she faced another cashier. She returned worked, others didn't. By dusk we'd barely recovered a fraction of the money. At home she placed the gold watch, the last symbol of a spree, on the counter. "They can't take it back," she said softly. "I'll sell it." Dad nodded. "Good." That tomorrow you'll find a job. She hesitated, searching my face. You're not going to help me, are you? I met her eyes. I already did. She just didn't see it. That night, she slipped a note under my door. I know you're angry. You should be, but I'll make it right. Inside was $60, her first repayment from selling concert tickets. I stared at it for a long time. The kind of quiet anger that is burnt down to truth. For once, I didn't feel like the fixer. I felt like the witness down the hall. I heard her cry a real roar, and for the first time, I didn't go to comfort her. I let the silence do what words never could, because this wasn't cruelty. It was the only way she ever learnt what love without rescue really looked like. 4 weeks later, the house sounded different. No slammed doors, no late whispers about missing tuition, just the roar of the coffee machine at 5 o'clock in the morning, and Tiffany's footsteps heading out before sunrise. She landed a job at a cafe downtown, the kind of place where every order was scribbled on paper cups and tips were earned one smile at a time. The first night she came home with the uniform smelling like espresso and sugar syrup. She didn't complain. She dropped 62 in tips onto the kitchen counter and said, "It's not much, but I'll be honest." Dad nodded. Mom just smiled weakly, proud and broken at the same time. Every Saturday, Tiffany handed me an envelope with whatever she had managed. Sometimes 100, sometimes less. I didn't count it in front of her. I just thanked her and wrote the total on a note pinned to the fridge. The number grew slowly, but it grew. We started family therapy in October. Dr. Lambert office smelled like peppermint tea and old carpet. At first, everyone sat on opposite sides of the room, but week by week, words started finding their way across the space. Mom admitted she'd mistakenly protected Tiffany for loving her. Dad confessed he leaned on me too much to keep the family steady. And I admitted I liked being the fixer, but it made me useful until it didn't. Tiffany didn't say much that first month. She mostly listened. But one day she said quietly, "I never learned how to be sorry without expecting someone to rescue me." In the silence, even Dr. Lambert just nodded, telling the truth hung there until it felt solid. By December, Tiffany had repaid nearly 6,000. The rest was taken time. But she was steady. She applied for readmission to the university for the spring semester, this time with her own budget plan and a part-time work schedule. One evening, she left a note under my door. Simple handwriting, no perfume, no hearts. "Thank you for letting me fall. You made me stand up." I stared at it for a long time. It wasn't revenge, it was restoration, and sometimes that felt better than winning. By spring, the rhythm in our family felt clean. Tiffany's morning belonged to the cafe, her afternoons to classes she paid for herself. Mom stopped hovering, Dad laughed again, and I finally stopped waiting for the next disaster. On a Sunday night in March, she handed me one last envelope, her biggest repayment yet, and a small gift bag. Inside was a framed photo of us as kids, muddy and grinning, arms around each other. The note beneath it read, "Thank you for not saving me. You taught me how to save myself." I placed it on my desk beneath the old floorboard I'd kept as a reminder, not of loss, but of the boundaries that changed everything. Sometimes love isn't the hand that catches you. It's the silence that lets you fall just far enough to learn how to climb. If you've ever had to make that hard choice, help or let go, tell me in the comments. Hit like if you believe in tough love that heals instead of hurt.